Hi everybody, how you doing? Remember last time I showed you how I do basic weathering in the last video or so. Well, it was a few videos back, but if you look back you'll see it again. I can't open the box. Ha ha. There we go. And what we did, we weathered this boxcar. Pretty basic, just some powders and things. And I sealed it with some hairspray, or you can use matte lacquer. It does the same job at the end of the day, and it looks okay. So what we want to do now is to take this further. Now, the best way, I want this to look really used and abused and old, and to do that we're going to put rust all over it. Well, not all over it, on the roof certainly, down the sides to a certain extent, around the doors here, and also the sliders where the doors slide along. And that's what we're going to do today, so let's get started. I'll just show you a few of the tools we're going to use to do this. Okay, we've got our famous weathering sticks. This one's a brown one. We've also got, I'm going to try out this Tamiya one as well. Tamiya weathering sticks is sort of like a clay, but we'll see how that goes. There you go. We've also got some paints. We're going to use two paints for this one. I'm using rail match paints here. If I get this in focus, please. Thank you. Rail match paints. One of them is called Freight Bauxite, which is this light brown colour. I've mixed these up so that it should be a-okay to use. So we've got Freight Bauxite, and the other one is a good old standard. Is this upside down? Yes, it is. Good old standard Sleeper Grime, which is sort of like a dirty brown. We also got a few brushes. There we go. These are cheap and cheerful ones, but they're quite slim points to them, as you can see. And we've got some thinner, always handy, and a load of these things. There we go. Whoa, sorry, get them in shot. This is just foam, packaging foam, which I've cut up into little triangles, as you can see. And we're going to use that. Well, I'm going to have a go with this as well. I picked this up a little while ago, but I haven't used it yet. Well, not much anyway. It's a Tamiya weathering pad thing. Let's see if we can open up whilst we're on camera. I doubt it. There we go. And I might use that. We'll see. What else do we do? Of course, paper towels. And some of these are tops from all sorts of things. So these are tops, I think, from bottles and things of that sort. But always handy to have, so you can mix paints and things of that sort in those. Right, that's great. So let's get started. Now we've got our paints. I've poured some into each one of these. I use the other hand so the light can catch it. And here's our boxcar. There we go. Now it's going to be quite weird this, because I'm having to do this at arm's length, but we'll see how we go. And what we do, we'll get some paper towels. There we go. And what we're going to do, put the paper towel there for a sec. I'm going to use the rail match brown first, and then we're going to use the bauxite. So we're going to dab a little bit of this on, and I'm actually not going to thin this out. There we go. And all we're going to do, hope you see this, is put it on like that. And if it gets thin later on, that's fine, no worries. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect, fair enough then. Okay, so this is going to be quick and easy, as all my series are. They are quick and they are easy. There we go. So that looks horrible, which is what we want it to be. We want it to be rusty. And get into the corners there. There we are. So now we need to wait for that to dry a bit, and I'm going to show you a bit of a trick in a second or two. So I'm going to get the hairdryer on this just to dry it off. Okay, so I'll put the hairdryer on this just to dry it off faster. And what we're going to do is going to take a clean piece of foam, and we're going to just press down and pull up. And this will pull some of the paint upwards. And instead of being sort of like flat, paint-like, it's actually going to feel quite rough. And you keep on doing this. Maybe I should have taken the bogies off, but never mind. But can you hear that? It's going to make it so that the light, when it hits it, doesn't give it a sheen like paint. It's almost 3D. You see you taking some paint off, which is fine, not much. And then pull down, push. Push? I don't know, when I'm on camera I can't think of what to say. Anyway. And all you're doing is pulling all these paint particles upwards, so it makes a rough surface, because rust isn't smooth, usually. And it also gives something for the paint we're going to put on in a second to hold. Now one way to, I find is very useful, is to look at rust. You know, there's rust everywhere in the world. You can go out the house and find it on all sorts of things, old sheds and things, and see what it looks like. There we go, that's done. Next phase, oh yes, there's a phase, may as well use the same piece, is we're going to use the, I have to remember to use the other hand, the bauxite. We're going to dab that in. So we've got a nice bit of paint there, but we're going to dab some of it off until, there we go, there's not that much on there. Don't worry about paint getting on your fingers. I used to wear gloves at one stage, but I don't do that now. And just go around. I do it all over. We're going to do 3 coats, you see. And go over where you've been. Now with this boxcar, we're actually going to have it more rusty on one end than we are on the other. I'll just get those bits off there. And just scrape it off like that. There we go. There we go. Okay. Here it's blop 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 blop. Wonderful stuff. Get my hand out of the way so you can see it. So there we are. What do you think? You still see some of the steel underneath, which is fine. But you can see the texture. It isn't smooth. In fact, when it's dry, you'll feel, if you do this, whoops, got paint all over the place. That it's actually very rough. Not only will it look like rust, but it'll actually feel like rust. So we're going to go back to the other piece of foam, and we're going to, I don't think there's much paint on there, so we're going to use the rail match again. Oops, down that goes. But this time we're going to take a lot of it off, like that. It's strange that we have to put it on and then take it off. It's a bit of a waste of paint, but then it gets the effects, and all we want is the effect, isn't it? Let's face it. And then we're going to put this down more around the centre, like so. And it's going to be a bit patchy, but a lot of it around the centre of the boxcar roof, like so. Let's see if I can, there we go. So we're going to just dry that, and then again we're going to get my hairdryer out. Oh, dry it off, and then we'll do a little bit more. I'll be back in a sec. And we're back in the room. Right, we need to get a new piece of foam. Foam. We use a lot of foam. And this is, it's tacky. So, here I go again. I'll hold it with the other hand, sorry about that. And again, as you can hear, I'm going to get into the corner there, there's a bit too much. Anything that's still not dry, we can just this is quite satisfying actually. I don't know why. As you can see, not a lot more is coming off. But look at the roof, isn't it gorgeous? Now, this is where you really have to push down and pull. Try not to put too much pressure on, of course. So I'll just finish this off and I'll be back. Okay, there we go, it's all dry, well, variously. There's still a bit of tackiness to it, but we can carry on working. And as you can see, it's difficult to see with this light, unfortunately, but there we go. We'll do it that way. How's that one? And as you can see, we've got a nice rusty roof. Maybe I'll tilt it a little bit like that. But there's it's not all brown in the same place. Can you see that? It's different, it's got a pattern. Now obviously I've just done 2 coats of this, was it 3 coats, I can't remember. But you can do more and more and more and more layers and more layers and you get a much better tone. But I think that looks great. Now, next, okay, this is supposed to be quick and easy, so what we're going to do are the ends. Always a difficult thing to do. Here we go, and all we're going to do these, now normally I'm going to use a paint pen, but this paint pen, the nib I've had to file down a bit because I don't have the thin one at the moment. And all we're going to do is very carefully doesn't have to be that precise. Put that in there like that. Like so. There we go. Do the other end. Yes, the roof is still slightly wet, but never mind. Do I care? And actually, we'll do it down there. There we go. I guess that's a bit of a. They're not always black. Got a bit of rust on. There we go. And there we go. Pretty easy. No nonsense there. Now I can't remember which is. I think this foam still has some bauxite on it, and we're just going to put some bauxite on the end here. Oh, it doesn't have much. It has some, especially down at the bottoms there. Where we got. There we go. Now you don't see the ends that much, but it's always worth doing these. And do the edges. So there's not much of this coming off. And down there, which is great. Don't need much. And voila. That'll do. And rolling away. And voila. I need a reflector over here just to reflect some more light. So let's see if we can. There we are. It's okay. It's nothing special. Now, what I would normally do is put some powders on the end there too, just to bring it down a bit. Now, this is the fun bit, which I always love. We get some more bauxite. Actually, I'll use a different piece of. And you get quite, you know. It absorbs quite a lot, and then let's get some more of this, and we're just going to take as much of it. All we need is a tiny amount. Throw it away, get another piece. I should really sort of cut this down. There we go. So that you don't see everything. Some of it's quite boring. So here we go. Now we're going to do the door and the top. So. The door, and very lightly and the runners and also the bottoms. Now normally I do this with this quite close to my eyes because I'm blind as a bat usually. I'll just put a bit more there, and then if you can do these, I don't know what they are, see these struts, whatever they are, and the ladders, because obviously the ladders get rusty, and then you have that, so it's not too bad. There we go, and you get a sort of, I'm going to put a bit of a rash of rust on over the GT bar like that. Nice bit of rust, get a bit clean, take some of that off. If it's too much you can take it off. Like so. Turn it around, we'll do the other side, just use the same piece. So some along the edge, or the top, bottoms. I need quite a lot near the, I find near the bottoms on the door hinges? Sliders. I don't know what the hell they're called actually, but and then along these struts and the, see how quick this is. I mean, if you had to do 30 or 40 of these, and I have had to do that occasionally, and we'll just put a bit of rust on there. Ta-da! There you go. Right, now some of this we can take off, so get a clean piece of foam, and we're just going to go over what we've just put on, and it brings it down, it's not so harsh. And as you can hear, we're doing that same patter thing again. Flop, 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 flop. There we go. I think that door needs a bit more actually. What do you think? I think it needs just a bit along the edges. Hope you can see this. I'm looking at the model, not the and then we take some of this off. Because the doors do get, and this is going to be pretty, so there we go, pretty? It's going to be pretty rusty, as you can see. I wish I could get the light right for you, honestly. There we go. I think I'll take a bit off the bottom as well. Oops. There we go, that's better. And a bit off the door there. There we go, so it isn't quite so harsh. Okay, next stage is coming up any moment now. I'm going to have a quick... Okay, so we could stop it there. You know, we've done a fair bit. It looks good. It looks rusty. I'll take some photographs later on and put them on at the end of this video so you can see the details. But what we're going to do is a couple of rust spots. This is quite difficult to do, but we're going to have a go. And all we're going to do is get a little bit of bauxite, and we're going to go over the G a bit here. Can you see that? Here we go. I'm going to just, where shall we do it? We'll do it lower down on the T. So on there, hold it on there for a little sec, and very gently bring that down. Make sure it's straight and not as crooked as mine. And then along here, you can do the same here. So we're sort of putting it on and wiping it off. If we put one on here, where, just there? We'll just bring it down there, like so. And as it dry brushes, as the brush dries, sorry. I think that looks okay. Doesn't look fantastic actually, but it's a good experiment to do. Let's try that one again. That doesn't look too bad, but I like it. We'll put a blodge on there like that. And then, let's see if I can do this. Shaky hands, man. Not easy to do, to be honest with you. What we can do though, we've got some thinner. Let's see if we can, thinner that I can't open. I'll go put a bit of thinner into a cap. Yeah. Get a clean brush. And bring that down like so. I think it doesn't look fantastic. It needs practice, and I'm not that good at it. But there we go. I think we've done a fair bit. It looks rusty. The roof is quite nice. The sides, they're okay. You could go overboard a little bit more, maybe. A little more work. But, as I say, this is a quick and easy way of doing rust. So, I'll take some photographs in a second, so they'll be tacked onto the end of this video. Please watch the other video I did about weathering with powders. That's always a good one. Hopefully, quite soon, I'll want to be able to do the other type of weathering, which is essentially dunking it in paint, which is a really messy way of doing this sort of thing, but it's really good fun as well. So until the next time, good luck.